gonna be team. Actually, I want to take a look at team 2. We got ourselves my man Magix and Shadow Breeze. Oh my god. Make a return with Anho and a Boomkin. Or Feral. We got ourselves Lathboker. We got ourselves Coil. We got ourselves Leroy gonna be first up versus Johnny Bravo, my man. Or Johnny Cowbro. Gonna be blinking away from the son of Leroy, trying to see if he can reposition. He is waiting, I think, to go for a big breath onto Leroy. Hunt comes down. Johnny may have to play very, very defensive. Got him so big all the time. So he's looking to remove a lot of this damage whenever he can. He's trying to reposition. Got himself a bit of a temporal. Just looking to play very, very defensive versus Leroy. Johnny could potentially have himself a big go. Arcade Surge. Big damage on Leroy. Does he go for a big knock? Worst up for a second. Oh, knocking it back. Does get him frozen. It's still going to be carrying up the ready. Johnny trying to see if he can blast him out. Trying to see if he can stand in darkness. Blur at the ready. Johnny, does he have any more damage to follow? Got himself all the time to make sure he's actually safe. Leroy blinking right in. Or leaping right in, rather. Johnny trying to see if he can still has all the time. Missiles to follow versus Leroy. Actually letting him position towards Leroy. My goodness, a Leroy without a match sticker falling off could be in a bit of trouble. If Johnny's very, very careful, he may be okay. Trying to go for big Arcana Sphere. Does he get to dodge it? Oh, does get to dodge it. Leroy just trying to see if he can veer out of there very quickly. That Arcana Sphere is a bold move, Cotton. You better pull it off. Leroy spawning at a demon, slaying it, immediately recovering full health. How'd you even get a demon proccing? Trying to go for Ring of Frost versus Johnny, but doesn't get to. Johnny with mass. Oh, Johnny getting blasted out, but Leroy is gonna have to go for an ice block. His little fingers are poking out of the ice block. It's a little big for the ice block, but he's doing as best he can, man. Oh no, that was a lot of damage out of the Demon Hunter. Big Hunter follow. Does go for War Stomp. Get him CC. Ring of Frost to follow. Leroy. Does he have an answer here? Potential Johnny could maybe get him out. Gonna be Kieran Radiant Spark. Does he maybe go for a knockback? Maybe breath. Leroy just gotta blink it or leaping right on top of the Ring of Frost. Running right through a Ring of Frost and just immunes it? Is that what happened? Followed by Johnny. Gonna be interrupted. Johnny may be in trouble. I think man may be over. I think they might just have him throwing a glaive one. All the time. Oh, second glaive taking him out. That was a rough one, man. I don't even know how he didn't freeze yet. I honestly thought that freeze should have happened. Doomberry gonna be up next. Leroy just backing up out of there, retreating as soon as he sees the head show him popping in quick present with a Fierce Sigil. Is gonna be able to kill the totem. Dude, those Volpera totems are so tiny that kind of hard to see, aren't they? Unless you have Hellbars enabled. Stunner to Doomberry, maybe in trouble. Trick inside of it, trying to top himself off. Massive Maelstrom healing. Got himself a Sky Fury to follow. Does himself big damage. Big Ellen Blaster to Leroy with a Frost Shock to follow. Does he have any more setup? Trying to go for the Primordial. Maybe he can get himself the double zap. Leroy is a conduit for lightning bolts right now. Trying to see if he can maybe reposition. Goes to follow. You see himself one big blast with a root to follow versus Leroy. Does he have the Maelstrom? I don't think he may have the Maelstrom for it. Doomberry is going to knock him back out in the open. Leroy is going to go for the big hunt. Massive damage on Doomberry. Oh my god! Just cleaving the boy down. Not giving him a chance. My goodness, Leroy, give these boys a chance. Who's it going to be up next? Who are they sending out? Is it going to be one of the Death Knights? Tath? Is it going to be Cries? Is it going to be Claws? One of these boys is going to have to challenge the boy. He's just so fixated on that goal. Tara finally tried to break the two apart. Leroy just losing on mobility. Doesn't want to fight Tara at all. I think he's just waiting for some cooldowns. Gonna be the ghoul as well as the gargoyle spotted in full damage. Leroy's is still so solely focused on fighting the ghoul without ever touching Tara. Is it gonna be a bomb around the corner? Leroy at some point is gonna have to close the gap. Does go for a prison onto Tar with a Fury to follow. Still focusing down that ghoul so heavily. And Tar finally able to get all the pets surrounding Leroy. Definitely needs to go for another army set or whatnot. And that's going to be the main goal, I think, potentially finally down. Leroy just trying to play it very, very defensive. Big item to follow. Does end up spawning a demon. That's going to be able to kill it fairly quickly. Big soul cleave onto Tar. Got him some big defensive. Massive hunter follow. Big damage. Tar may be in a bit of trouble. Definitely needs to play it very, very defensively. Whatever death strikes you got going on, now you may need to use them. And Leroy just looking to close in, do damage, break out, and maybe just wait for some cooldowns to come back. As he's trying to slow down this game, because you know he's been playing against Claws, he's playing against Chrysler. He just wants to make sure if, let's say, Chrysler's up next, that Leroy is walking into this one fully prepared. So Tar is mostly there to, like, I guess Tar is there to fight him, but he's trying to see if he can kill Tar without spending too many cooldowns and played very, very cheesy to make sure he's got, I think, everything safe for Chrys. Because he's going to literally need everything. He's got a demon back there, plenty recovery. That's a demonic soul, so you can have a proper opener. The Succubus swinging around the corner. Maybe we'll get exploded by the blast. Looks like Succubus tried to go for CC for a second and stopped. Is that what I saw? Is that what happened? Using the mobility with Vengeful to make himself immune. Big damage. Soul Cleaver to Christ. Got himself big dark back with a Mortal Coil over to Leroy. Shadow Fury to follow right after. Immolate to follow his Christ. Dropping it in the Infernal as he got himself full gates. Big cannonballs flying in. Leroy trying to see if he can back up out of it. Does have another demon spawning in though. If only Christman could like banish those demons out. Because they are demons, they are NPCs, but you can't really touch them because that's kind of like, you know, Leroy's heal. But what if a Warlock could just banish that thing? I feel like that would be like flavorful, wouldn't that be? Like part of the class fantasy. Big cannonball set out from the gateway to Leroy, leaving the demon soul on the ground for now. I think he's waiting until maybe he can get himself an I-beam. Because if he can get himself more leech, picking up Demon Soul will be even more effective. Try to see if he can change over to Kreisbad. Kreisbad repositions. Gonna be a stun by Leroy. Got himself a decent spot. Trinket with a hunt. Leroy trying to go for a longest distance hunt, but couldn't quite reach him. Big Metamorphosis. Look at you catch up. Big Hunter follow. Mortal Coil. Trick immediately cries with the dark bag. Trying to see if he can survive it. Big Blade Dance cleaving right through those shields. Absolutely blasting them out. Stun to Cries. I-beam to follow. Cries looking for a fear. Leroy's gonna go immune from that fear with eventual retreat. He's imprisoned onto that Succubus CC for a second as the Succubus does finally establish the Seduce. Soul Fire right after. Leroy just gonna get blasted out into this bag, but he still has full Metamorphosis. He got himself plenty of leech, plenty of survivability here. Cries is gonna try to see if he can chip away at him as Leroy closes that gap, trying to stay as proactive as possible with mobility. It's gonna go for eventual retreat, maybe try to avoid the Succubus CC last second. Potentially. Wall by Cries, finally get himself some casting, but Wall Fear is going to get broken out by the pet fairly easily. Gonna go for Fear onto Cries. Does see the Fear Sigil. Does Leroy have any damage to follow the Fear Sigil? Looks like he's just going to try to chip away at him as best as he can. Dark Back, Soul Cleave, Mortal Coil immediately. Leroy has himself immunity in case he needs to. Cries just trying to see if he can incinerate him down. Both of them are super low. Trying to see if he can just yeet Leroy out of there. Leroy with a quick prison. Does himself a little bit more damage. Cries repositions. Does he have another gateway to follow? Stun onto Leroy. Does know there's going to be a second CC. Cries having to play it offensively. He has to keep fighting. He has to keep casting. He can't just give Leroy a chance to recover. And Leroy with an immunity. So Cries is very, very limited what he can do. Can't slow him down. He can technically CC him with an immunity. Leroy just phases himself out of the incorporeal world, but he is still somewhat there. His health is saved, but his body, not 100% really. As he kind of like separates his soul into the twisting nether. So he's not completely pervious to damage. Big Hunt versus Cries. Doesn't go for second. We see it last second. Cries, does he have any more mobility? Was he survivability? Mortal Coil last second, but Leroy recovered a ton of health slaying that demon. Cries got himself the Battle Master Trinket, trying to go for as much damage versus Leroy. That's going to be one gate. Does he have any more instant cast around the corner? Drain. That's going to be second is going down. Leroy finally able to separate Kreisbad from this demon. That's going to be Leroy trying to see if he can catch back up to him. Cries dropping down Infernal. Stun around the corner. Oh, and Leroy comes down, crashing into Cleveland. Is that a 1-5 by Leroy? Somebody left at some point. I'm not sure who. Over on the team one. I think was it Claus? Might have been Claus. I think Claus never got to play. Might have actually just AFK'd. That or had to go. One of those two. Or maybe we're just waiting so long. Oh, Christ, but to die.